on us. We can defend every word in this paper because this paper is 100% truth. You won't find any lies in this newspaper. You won't find any stories with slants in them. This paper will produce pure, unadulterated truth for you to ponder over.
That's right. As a matter of fact, we are broadcasting live right here, back under Mount Kilimanjaro at
Killing them live.
Killing them live.
Killing them live under Mount Kilimanjaro,
Killing them
right
live.
here at Cafe Ulu, 2036 Sylvan Road, Atlanta, Georgia, 30310, right here in the heart of the SWATs. You must come by and support your own if you're in the Atlanta area. This Cafe Ulu is a co-op of over 500 black people that pool their resources.
That's right.
Y'all, I don't think they heard me.
Say that again.
500 black, more than 500 black people
That's
that
right.
pool their resources and open up this beautiful establishment. So you can come by, oh, I left my hibiscus ginger tea.
Uh-oh.
Say it ain't
Not the
so.
hibiscus
Yes.
That is, so if you come by here, make sure you order the Jahi special,
Okay,
the
now.
which is the hibiscus ginger with a hint of mango and
Okay, now
honey.
you didn't tell us about the hint of mango.
Oh
That's
yeah,
something
that is the special, the mango.
new. Hint of mango.
That
Okay.
hint of
I'm
mango.
gonna make sure I get one of those.
You
tomorrow.
got
I
to.
got my
You got
own
to
tea
try.
right over here right now. I'm gonna get that.
So, and they also carry the Final Call newspaper here.
That's right.
And at any moment, you can also come in and you will see on the big TV screen in the back, they play the lectures by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right. That's right.
So it's a great place to meet people, all thought, all philosophies of black people come through here and support this program. And another dynamic aspect of Cafe Ulu is that in addition to serving the community, they also buy products from the community.
That's right.
I supply them with the Final Call newspaper. Brother Rashad Sharif supplied them with the delicious teas.
That's right.
You still have your cookies and
No,
stuff in there?
we're not doing distributing the cookies, but we will do that again in the future.
Okay. They
Yes,
also
sir.
carry the Supreme Bean Pie from Chicago.
That's right.
So they're part of the nation's program, as well as Sister Rashida Abdullah has her popcorns in here. And there's a brother with the Symphony potato chips.
That's right.
A lot of the products are black-owned products, manufactured by small, thriving black businesses. So
Yes,
please
sir.
come by and support Cafe.
You know, and another thing, brother, we could let them know is, you know, a lot of times people conduct their meetings at
Oh,
your
yes, sir.
Starbucks
Yes, sir.
or your other. You can come here. They have free Wi-Fi.
Yes, sir.
Come conduct your
And it's
business
high speed.
meeting.
It's high
That's
speed.
right.
So
High
you don't
speed
skip.
internet.
You don't skip a beat.
That's right. Come conduct your
And my meeting
business
yesterday
meeting
here.
right here with your
OC,
clients,
outsourcing
introducing them to
Yes.
a black-owned co-op coffee cafe right here in the Atlanta area.
Right.
Cafe Ulu. Google it. You just look it up.
Absolutely. So again, we do this discussion every Thursday here at Cafe Ulu. Every Thursday we're here to discuss this week in the Final Call. And as was pointed out, we did miss a few weeks, but hey, we're getting caught up. That doesn't mean that you have to miss.
Right. That's right.
So please continue to get your Final Call. You can come here to Cafe Ulu. You can go to 3642 Campbellton Road, which is the Southern Regional Headquarters of the Nation of Islam, here in Atlanta, Georgia. You can pick up your Final Call newspaper from there, or you can go to Blue Seas Express on Joseph Boone Boulevard, which we're going to broadcast from there live next week.
Praise be to
From
Allah.
Cafe,
Yes, sir.
from Blue Seas Express. We'll be there next week, and hopefully we have Student Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad, the Southern Regional Representative
Oh, yes,
of the
sir.
Nation of Islam, and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as our special guest
Yes, sir.
on this week in the Final Call there. Also, if you're on the east side of Atlanta, you can go to the Black Dot Cultural Center and Bookstore. They carry the Final Call. And as Brother Khadib said, as you're matriculating throughout the area, if you're listening to us from Atlanta, we know all the spots where you can get the Final Call.
That's right.
You got West End, Lee Street in the West End.
That's right.
You got 138, Highway 138 and Georgia 85 in Riverdale.
Come on.
My squad is there every day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got Old National and Godby Road.
Yes,
Right,
sir.
right, absolutely.
Come in Cobb County, the paper's there. DeKalb County, the paper's there.
Right, right. So, if you need to find out where you can get your copy, just give us a call at 404-438-3156. And if you're in other parts of the world watching this, there's somebody near you that has the Final Call newspaper.
That's right.
Oh, and I'm really
Digital.
Digital, right?
Right.
Call
Digital.
digital, which
Modern day time.
I have my subscription, so I get a chance to read it before the actual paper comes out, the physical
Yes,
paper
sir.
comes out. So subscribe. Go to finalcalldigital.com, and you can get your Final Call newspaper. As Brother Kadeem said, this paper is not just a religious paper.
Right.
Of course, there are some spiritual and religious aspects in it that, for the betterment of our lives, definitely would benefit us by partaking of it. But it also keeps us abreast of what's going on that you may not find in other news outlets.
Right.
Like I said, I listen to a lot of talk radio, from the super Christian conservative to the black talk radio, across all mediums. And there, a lot of the articles that you find in the Final Call, they don't talk about on mainstream
Oh,
media.
no,
And then, but what I found out too, though, I know that they're reading the Final Call because they will mention something
Yes.
that only the Final Call
Absolutely.
has talked about.
Absolutely.
Put their framework
Right,
and their spin on it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So let's dive right into this as we look at this particular issue. As you can see on the cover, it says American Race Warrior. Now this article is very interesting because have you all heard about it in the mainstream media? If you have heard anything, what have you heard? Jumping over, it starts on page 3 in this article. Now, one of the things, we were having this discussion earlier, one of the things that's very interesting about this whole setup, there's a white guy by the name of Christopher Paul Hasson. Remember that name, Hasson. He's a lieutenant in the Coast Guard. That's one of the military units of the United States, right?
That's right.
This dude was stockpiling weapons to kill people. He has a kill list.
Hit list.
That's right. The hit list.
Right.
Some people that you know, names.
Some of your well-beloved politicians and radio and TV personalities
That's
that
right.
he was set out, he was going to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they arrested the guy February the 15th,
That's right.
which was a Friday. That was our first day
Right.
of Savior's Day.
Absolutely.
They arrested him February the 15th. It didn't hit the news until February the 20th.
That's right. 5 days later.
5 days later. You know how that came about? There's a professor at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. I want to make sure I get the school right. You know they got a George Washington.
That's
and
right. George Washington University.
It was George Washington
So
University?
right up under the Timothy McVeigh picture. Page 10.
There's a professor at George Washington University who scours the arrest list, court filings,
That's right.
and he came across it.
Mm-hmm.
And he reported it on his Twitter account.
That's right.
And other media outlets picked it up from his tweets. Now, had he not been just part of his regular routine,
Right.
we would not have known about it. Or we would have known about it under the perspective which they wanted us. And he's the first one of these white dudes who have committed an atrocious crime or about to commit an atrocious crime that they actually labeled a domestic terrorist.
That's right.
The
That's
very
right.
first one.
Mm-hmm.
The very
Well,
everybody
I
else.
hate to read into the lines, but his
Okay,
name
go ahead.
is Hassan with an O, so we change that O to A. We back at the
Uh-oh.
Hassan.
That's right,
So
Hassan.
you gotta be careful, because people look at it real quick.
Right.
You
That's
know,
right, that's
they-
right.
Instead of seeing Hassan, the white guy, they might see Hassan the Muslim.
That's right.
You gotta be real
Absolutely.
careful when you deal with marketing and media and how people label stuff, change your O to an A, you know.
Absolutely.
So
Oh, right. That's a good
Right.
point because
Yeah.
Or
at
it
some
could have been a
point,
Hussein.
Mhm.
at some point they may try to
Exactly.
say that he's not really white.
Right.
He's
been influenced by-
Right.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But if we look at his hit list,
Yes.
these were all black people.
Black people and liberal
Right.
liberal politicians,
Right,
liberal
and he
white
really, and
politicians.
liberal whites, yes, sir. So this type of hit list, I can see, that's like a white Nazi type, terrorist type. They definitely, they have a problem with their government.
Right.
They generally make these types of lists.
Good point. And look, this is the key piece. He is part of the United States government.
Absolutely.
Coast Guard, yeah.
He's
That's
a
right.
Coast Guard. So this article is also talking about, and hats off to Brother Barrington M. Salmon, who writes some very prolific articles that make it in the Final Call News. I definitely want to meet this person one day because his research is absolutely off the chain.
Yes, sir.
And his writing style. But the article goes on to talk about how others in the U.S. government have sounded the alarm about the infiltration of white nationalists in particular and neo-Nazis that are in the government via the military and a lot of the law enforcement agencies around the United States.
Yes, sir.
They have infiltrated.
Well,
That's
it
right.
says here the military and law enforcement usually attracts people with authoritarian personalities, and it offers lethal training and national security access. So
That's
you
right.
training.
Right.
So this
right.
is the real training day, right?
Right.
You
And
look at it.
getting classified
Good, come on.
material, getting
Access.
access
Right.
to classified material.
I hope this is not too far off the beaten path. I was just thinking about, are you all familiar with Bill Burr, the comedian?
Yes, sir.
Bill Burr do this piece talking about how they should send these country white people to war.
Oh,
Right.
He said, 'cause they love
They love guns. They
He
love
said,
to
as a
shoot.
matter of fact, when they go, they be like, they give them their weapons. Oh, I already got that. You know?
Right.
What is this? Oh, this?
This is what y'all shooting? I
It's
got one
wait a
better
minute,
than
hold
this.
on, let me go get my
Right.
This is
Right.
Right.
In reference to what you just mentioned about the infiltrating, I noticed when we were in Chicago Savings Day, they mentioned that 1 million black men are missing
Oh, wow.
in the United States. And 75,000 black women and children are missing.
1 million black
A
men.
million
Wow.
are missing. Is missing. So with that type of access,
Right.
it's easy for something like that to take place.
Absolutely,
They know how to
absolutely.
cover, they know how to cover it up.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And they come under authoritarian
That's right.
rule.
Right.
Again, hopefully I can get into it, but what it reminded me of, I know Rashad may be too young for this, but the Atlanta missing and murdered
Oh,
children.
yes,
Wayne Williams.
absolutely.
Well, they accused Wayne Williams.
Well,
Everybody
we
know
know it was
Wayne
the
Williams.
KKK. Right.
They
he
said it
was
was
escaped.
somebody in authority
Right.
Right.
that were
So
able
they
to
was
snatch
covered
them
up,
children.
right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I mean, a lot of the people talked about how there were like police-looking cars that would ride through the neighborhood, and then that's when these children
Kidnapping these
will
black children.
wind up missing. So,
That's when Atlanta wasn't as popular as it is today.
and then of course Dick Gregory talked about how the missing, like when there was the riots in Los Angeles,
Yes,
there
sir.
were 8,000 to 10,000 black men that went missing after the
Wow.
riot. So that he talked about organ harvesting.
Right.
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 And even after Hurricane Katrina,
Yes, yes.
some of black
Yes.
children
Yes.
were parents never found their
Never
children.
found, right.
And they just were made to assume that perhaps your child died in the hurricane.
So brothers and sisters, we definitely have to be careful, be on your all general orders in effect.
Absolutely. Sometimes when you get pulled over by the police, call the police.
Oh, now check this out. Now, not to be skipping, no, it's not skipping around. Go to the next page in the final call. On page 4 in the final call,
Yes.
and there the Florida officer goes on trial for killing a black motorist. This is exactly what happened in Palm Gardens.
West Palm Beach.
Yeah, down in Florida. That's
Right, the brother's van had broken down. Police officer rolls up on him incognito. Didn't have no identification on him that he was a police officer. Just started shooting at the brother,
Right.
and the brother shoots back, and he kills the brother, and lied about it, and he was immediately fired.
Right.
Now he goes on trial because the brother was on the phone with the tow truck driver
Right, right.
at the
I
time.
remember that.
And so they
Right.
heard the recording.
They heard
The
the
dude
recording.
never
Identified
identified
himself.
himself
That's
as
right.
a police officer.
That's right. And so,
Dirty bastard.
so here's this article can go right back to the
Right,
article we're talking about
right.
with these Nazis and
Right,
these white hate
absolutely.
groups that are joining the police.
Mhm.
And they
But
have
here's
the
the-
badge.
But here's the interesting thing. In the message to the black man,
Oh yeah.
the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is having a
Discussion
discussion
with
and a
Stoner.
letter with B.J. Stoner of the
Mhm.
KKK, and
Right.
he told him one
He
day
did.
Right.
we're gonna take off these hoods,
Put
and
on
we're gonna
black
be
robes.
we're gonna be black robes, we're gonna
Uh-huh.
be judges, we're gonna
Right.
be police
Police
officers,
officers. He sure
and you
said
know.
it.
So just today, or not just today, but in the time in which we're living, we're seeing these things
We
manifest.
see them. We see
know.
them. We see them
And
in
they're killing
food.
us wholesale, and they're looking to get away with it.
And, you know, to tie this in too, because the article is very deep. So, tying it into other articles that have come out with this
And that was Jimmy
incessant murder in Chicago, albeit Chicago is not the murder capital of the United States per capita. They're not leading. I think it's St. Louis.
Really?
That is the murder capital per capita.
Yes,
It's
sir.
Right.
Per 100,000
Right,
people,
right.
number of folk that get shot, get killed. But people in Chicago on the streets have been saying for
For
decades
years.
that it's the police.
That's right.
Absolutely.
The
They-
police.
It's the
Because-
police is coming through
How
shooting up the place.
randomly, on a weekend, for 3-4 weekends in a row, 23 people murdered. I mean, come on. We're not that crazy. We're crazy, but we're just not that hateful that every weekend is 23. But if you're not informed, go
Right.
back to this again, brother. If our people are not informed,
Mhm.
you go for anything.
Right,
Because you stand for nothing.
right. When again, back to Savings Day, and when I was in our hotel watching the news, when the Smollett incident hit the news.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
There were people in Chicago that have been affected by their sons being murdered or, people being murdered. And they're like, look, man, all this police activity around this situation, and we still have people that are
That's
dead.
right.
Right.
Y'all don't know who did it.
Right.
But y'all know
Right.
exactly what's going on with this.
A man
Right,
so-called
right.
got beat up. Even if that was the case, they had 12
Right.
detectives.
Right, on the case.
Big
12
On the
detectives.
case.
brags.
Right.
Man.
On the case. I'm
Oh,
glad
right.
that's not a story in the final call.
I don't think we have another name.
That's right. Thank you. Because I was saying all along, it's not news.
No.
Right, it's not
No,
news
it's just
worthy.
Somebody
it's
got,
distraction.
somebody got beat up.
I'm sorry.
That might happen in Chicago every day.
That-
You might get
that
beat
happens
up.
every day.
Absolutely.
Might be able to fight.
At 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, they talked about that too, that the crime went down during that cold because it's too
Absolutely.
cold.
It's 50 degrees, man. We ain't selling no
That was the
dope.
first thing I thought when I heard that. I'm from Wisconsin.
Yes,
Like
sir.
2 o'clock in the morning.
You gonna
And
get
it
a
was some of the
subway.
worst weather in Chicago in
Right.
record history.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you also have fights like,
And it's,
hey, wait,
did
No,
you
no,
see-
walk
did
me
you-
somewhere to get somewhere to.
did
Wait
you
a
see
minute,
the
no,
cat?
wait a minute.
Did you see the cat?
Yeah,
The
no,
dead cat?
No, so it was two comedians. I don't know their names, but they were and it was brothers. And so what they were radio personalities and comedians. And two things that stood out. One was one said, now you know good well it wasn't nobody, right? He said, because first of all, only black people use bleach. All right. This sort of
Yes.
And then the
Yes.
second thing, very seriously, the brother was saying, now, he don't care what happened to him. If he was conscious, there is no way in the world that a black man is going to leave a noose around his neck. That's going to be the first thing. He don't
Right.
care about evidence. He don't care about
Right.
as he was saying, as a black man.
Right.
The noose coming off first thing.
Absolutely.
So, of course, again,
Would you like to see?
I withstand from judgment, but I just was looking at that, perspective that's just very different.
Whatever our brothers dealing with, may Allah bless.
Right, right.
All right, moving right along under national news. Again, in the final call on page 4, brothers and sisters. Man, I feel like Chuck D. What we gonna do?
That's right.
Syphilis cases rising alongside increased opioid addiction.
Come on, man.
So the gist of what the CDC reported, this is from our sister Lisa Ismail Muhammad out of DC, who's a professor at Howard University. This is a CDC report. Now listen to this. Let's start with the end. The name of this report is Morbidity and Mortality Weekly.
That's
I
right.
mean, that's a report or a paper for everything.
Absolutely.
Morbidity and Mortality Weekly, which came out February 15th. Nearly 2.3 million cases of chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis were diagnosed in the United States in 2017,
That's right.
according to the data released by the CDC.
That's right.
This surpassed the 2016 numbers by a couple of 100,000 people. Folk, man, oh man,
Your righteousness
our
shall sustain you.
righteousness shall sustain
I mean,
us.
at this point,
Man,
like, choose life over death.
Right.
You know, this world is that they are giving us with the syphilis, along with the opioids, along with everything else, is just a lifestyle of death.
Right.
Yes.
right.
You know, and we have, unfortunately, under this rule, we've accepted the lifestyle of death
Yes.
versus the lifestyle of life.
That's right.
Wow.
You know what? And I also thought about this, and it's not. Is it possible, as they did the Tuskegee experiment, that opioids could be laced with something that causes syphilis? Just is it possible?
Hey, I don't put nothing against
Is it possible?
Don't
You know,
put
I
nothing
don't put
against-
anything past, as the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said, we can't fathom the depths
That's
of
a
Satan.
wickedness of Satan.
That's
right,
Well,
right.
if you're looking at the CDC, Center for Disease Control, which means that, you know, not disease cure, but controlling, they're in control of the disease. So if you're in control of something, you can put it out there, you can stop
Absolutely.
it, you can advance it, you know, because you're in control over it. And, you know, no different, you know, from the vaccine justice or else, which I happen to be a part of as well.
Right.
Yes,
Where
ma'am.
they, you know that, you know, these vaccines are killing us and or causing autism at an increased rate in black babies. So when you look at things like the syphilis, the gonorrhea, it's just another avenue for the bigger picture of death
Of
and
population
destruction.
control.
Population control.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's not anything that, you know, for us to be surprised about, but at a certain point, we have to just make a decision and a choice, you know, do we want to accept life? And as we go into a little further into the articles, it will give us some more information about choosing life over death.
Right.
Yes, all right. Choosing life over death. That's a great segue to the next article. We stand with Farrakhan.
That's right.
saying.
Defend the
By
Farrakhan.
brother Eric Teray Muhammad, who is located here in Atlanta, Georgia, son of the great Kwame Ture.
Yes.
Dynamic article about those who presented at Savior's Day defending Farrakhan. The panel, I didn't get a chance to see the panel, but I know everyone that spoke on the panel.
Yes.
That's a
And
powerhouse
oh
panel.
my
Yes.
God, that was a powerhouse panel.
Right.
Of course, one of the highlights was the guy. Look, this is a little quick, I guess, testimony with the detail that we work at Savior's Day. I saw this guy's name, Michael Hoffman.
Right.
So I immediately looked them up, like, okay, who is this? And they said the first thing on what's the name in Wikipedia, one of the things, first thing they called him was a Holocaust denier. So, oh, interesting.
Right.
Reading that bio, but he's also a Talmudic scholar.
That's right.
So as he said, did y'all see his article that he wrote?
I absolutely did. I
I
read the
did.
whole thing. It
Oh
was a
my
long article,
goodness.
and I read it. That's saying a lot for me. To
Yeah,
yeah, you know,
yeah.
I'm a skimmer. The article was absolutely
What did he say?
phenomenal.
My service to the Nation of Islam.
That's
Where,
right.
where's it printed?
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, it was actually on his
he
page.
on his page, and then other people sent it out. The research
got you.
team sent it out. But yeah, man. But he chronicled Michael Hoffman. He chronicled his sojourn with the Nation of Islam from the moment he got his ticket, which was around February the 2nd. He said, if you had asked me February 5th that I was going to be with the Nation of Islam, I've been like, you out of your mind.
Right.
February 7th, he got a ticket at a hotel room
Right.
to come to Savior's Day.
Mhm.
And then his highlight, he said, was meeting the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes,
He had a
sir.
private dinner. with the minister at the palace.
Come on.
Right, so he chronicles all of that. But this dude, he is a Talmudic scholar. And he said he heard the minister last Savior's Day. He heard what the minister said about what the Talmud says about Jesus.
That's right.
The Orthodox Jews who follow the Talmud do not believe in your Jesus Christ.
Not only do they not believe in
They
him, it's
said
okay to
he
not
is
believe in
in
him, but
hell
they
or
despise him.
burning in human excrement. This is what the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud says.
And you know what I find very interesting about that is the people will argue with us. Say the Muslims don't believe in Jesus.
We don't believe in Jesus. We
in
strive
fact believe
every
in
day
Jesus.
to be Jesus.
Right. And then the same people that are y'all friends, they do not believe in Jesus
And they
at
despise
all.
you.
Front.
And
they
what
front.
the biggest thing is that they will not stand up. The Christian pastors will not
Right.
speak out.
Right.
So Michael Hoffman called them out.
That's right.
Yes, he did.
called
At
By
them
name.
Savior's
out.
Day.
By
At
name.
Savior's Day. By name. He
You know,
called them.
that might be what, the letter may be what he actually said from the roster, because he
Right. He spoke.
Yes.
Right, no, the letter, his essay chronicles the different things that he got into at Savior's Day,
Right. It
speaking
actually
on the
was
panel.
his testimony with not just with the minister. It was
but
one thing
all-
with the minister, but his actual interaction
With
with
everybody. He
the
talked about
laborers,
being
from
picked
the
up.
FOI, from
Yes.
the those who are you would deem as scholars in our nation, and how the humility and the aspect of family.
Right.
So I mean, he really almost like a bird's eye view.
Right.
Oh,
The
yeah,
nation,
absolutely.
and was
I like
able
that.
to,
Good
it was
bird's eye view.
able to give testimony like this is real. This is not no play
I think
thing.
what he got to was a peek into heaven.
And
Absolutely.
he all but said that. Look,
Absolutely.
Iquan, he talked about being picked up at the airport in a big black SUV worthy of a presidential detail.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Praise be. He met
Wow.
the team.
Right.
Right. You're gonna get him and treat him nice.
He kept talking about how dignified.
Absolutely.
He said the members of the Nation of Islam are predisposed to learning.
Mm.
He said,
Students.
he
That's
said
right.
he's spoken at other conferences and stuff like that, mainly like Catholic and Protestant conferences. He said, but nobody was eating it up like
Right.
the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
They're talking about the dignity. He also talked about how after he spoke, I want to say, was it the day that he spoke at the Believers? Yeah. He spoke at the main
Defending
event.
Farrakhan.
He spoke at the main event on that
Defending
Saturday.
Farrakhan?
No, on Sunday.
Sunday.
Okay.
He spoke Sunday. He said he didn't have no idea he was going to be a speaker
Right.
on Sunday. But he said, he said, I've been doing this work for 35 years, and I've always wanted to speak to a large crowd.
Mm.
I had no idea that would come from a black man who's a Muslim.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Put him in front of, 20,000 in the arena and millions watching.
And that's because why? Because the truth. You know,
Mhm.
those who want to, give truth. That's what we're interested in.
Mhm.
And so that's why the final call has the trumpet on the cover, because the sound is the sounding board for truth. So
Yes.
we're not necessarily looking at the color, what they want to call it.
Right.
It's the anti-Semitic, anti-this, anti-that. No, he's anti-lies.
That's right.
So if you want to come with
He's
truth.
anti-termite.
There you go.
But in addition to what's being said, look at the quality of the heart
Yes, sir.
of the Honorable Minister.
And he
Louis
talks about that. He
Farrakhan.
talked about the love. That's another
Yes.
thing that Michael Hoffman talked about, the love. He said that the enemies don't want you to see. They try to dehumanize the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan because they don't want you to see the love that he has for humanity.
Absolutely. And I really want to say this to the believers. So many of us are not studying. Reading a book is not studying the book. And we poorly in most cases misrepresent the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on social media. Study, or in truth, I really stay the hell off social media. Because when we have people like a Mr. Hoffman, coming before the world, because you know the world was watching Savior's Day, the enemy was watching Savior's Day, and has all of the things that he has to say at the event and in this article. You cannot be a misrepresentative of what it is we have been given by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Study and be a student of these teachings.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. So make sure you read that article. We stand with Farrakhan.
We are Farrakhan, baby.
That's right.
Make no
That's
mistake
right.
about it.
I
We
didn't,
will defend him.
I didn't get a chance to see this, but I see our sister
Margaret
did
McD.
her play
Oh,
at
Yes.
Savior's Day called
Arts and
Testimony.
Culture.
Yeah, she did a show. No, it wasn't a showcase. It's called a
Testimony to play.
yeah
Yes.
Mhm.
encore viewing. Presented an encore viewing
Yes.
on that Friday at Savior's Day. And then she did the actual play the following week.
Yes, sir.
Very, very talented and prolific sister is doing her thing. Sister Margaret Mahdi of what's the name of her?
Mahdi,
The Mahdi
yeah,
Theater
Mahdi,
Company?
yeah.
The Mahdi
Yes.
Theater.
Mahdi
Absolutely. So
Yes,
if you
sir.
like good musicals, make sure you check out.
Have
her
you ever
plays.
seen one of her shows?
I have not seen
I
one
have.
of hers.
Brother, I saw The Wiz.
Yes.
When I was in Tallahassee, I spoke with Sister Margaret. She did The Wiz Chicago style.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to her to convince her to come to Tallahassee. We were going to do The Wiz FAMU style, and we was going to do a Black College tour. Unfortunately, the provost at FAMU was with me. Unfortunately, the sister who was over the dancers, because Sister Margaret was going to bring her dancers, she was going to use FAMU's dancers. The sister who doesn't, she's employed by the institution strictly to teach dancers. She's not a professor or anything. She felt like, I want the students paid. So I said, what would be the difference between paying them and an athlete getting paid? So she raised so much saying, I said it would be best for them who were major in theater to be able to put on their resume. They performed
That's
for the
right.
Mahdi Theater Company. Anyway, long story short, because of that, she, behind our backs, went to the provost who was with it. It was like, no, we're not going to do it, because Sister sent me the play, The Wiz Chicago style on DVD, and I used it to sell it.
Right.
So I do have an idea. I think that we should put our sister on a tour, brother, through the black colleges, and we can start right here.
Beautiful.
And when I tell you that
That
she is
sister
just
is
absolutely
brilliant.
awesome, she did
She's
a piece
brilliant.
that actually featured Mother Tanetta Muhammad, and I
Okay.
believe this piece from Testimony actually features the work of Mother Tanetta Muhammad too. And when I tell you, absolutely the quality is Broadway quality and beyond. This
Yes.
is not like a little theater somewhere, back street, off Broadway.
Absolutely.
When I say it is Broadway,
Absolutely.
top-notch Broadway quality, her quality is absolutely
Brilliant
big.
sister.
And we have to have those outlets and those venues for arts and culture. That is another way that we can to express.
Mhm.
We want to always talk about, oh, you got gangster rap, you got this, you got that. But unless we are giving an alternative, putting a clean glass next to a dirty glass, and
Right.
expressing the
Right.
culture, then
Absolutely.
we're going to be at a loss. But definitely,
Speaking
definitely.
the language.
That's
Speaking the
right.
language.
Speaking the language of the people.
All right, we're gonna hit a couple more articles as we close up, but Jelani has to get up out of here.
Regrettably.
No, we understand. What do you want to talk about?
Well,
real
I got to
quick?
go with this personal defense.
Oh, yes,
because I
yes,
talked
yes,
about
yes,
sister,
yes,
and
yes,
this
Alberta.
Sister
That's right, so we're gonna talk
Alberta
about it.
and Muhammad, and she is a guest columnist.
Can I say this?
Yeah, please say
If you have not read this article,
Gotta read it.
listen, if you have not read this article, you should read it. And sister's gonna get into it. You know our sister personally. Sister spoke to her
That's right. before
maybe
the
an
show.
hour or so ago,
Exactly.
after reading the article. But and I wanted to preface it with this, Sister Kaval. So many of us that come into the nation, our families are at odds with us.
Right.
That's right.
There are members of the Nation of Islam who maybe their mother or their father is white, and we teach them, which is the truth, that the white man is the devil.
That's right.
And they wrestle with that. But when you read this article and hear this sister's testimonies, you cannot deny the love and pure of heart of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So, Sister, I'm go. I'm gonna be quiet. That's
Absolutely.
That's absolutely
Well,
wonderful.
this is personal to me because I happen to personally know the sister, and we actually found each other through Savior's Day. We were
Okay.
actually roommates.
Oh, wow.
At Savior's Day some years ago, and to know, of course, visibly she's a light-skinned sister, but you know everything about her that you would see is black. So I didn't necessarily know that she had a Caucasian mother, and
Jewish.
A Caucasian
Jewish
Jewish mother.
Russian.
Right?
A Russian Jewish mother.
Right?
That's right.
And so, one of our brothers, brother Jackie, who does a lot of defense of
Oh, yeah,
Farrakhan
Brother
on the
Jackie is a
research team.
bad
So
man.
she's known
Yeah,
him for some
yeah.
time, and she actually opened up her home to him at one point when they
Mhm.
were in defense and in study group
Okay.
with Brother Jabril Muhammad, and so she said that you know she was reading his work, defending Farrakhan, and she so desperately wanted to defend Minister Farrakhan, but she said, "I'm not a scholar. How can I possibly defend him?"
It's from the
You
heart.
know, I don't know what to say. And she said every day she would think about it, she would pray on it, and she woke up one morning and said, "It's right here,
Mhm.
my life,
Right.
is a
That's right.
defense."
Right.
Because she said when she first from Harlem, born in Harlem, first found out in Harlem that the teaching she was
She
taught
heard
the white
Malcolm.
man, she
Right,
heard
she heard
Malcolm say,
Malcolm, right.
you know, the white man is the devil. She said that day she went home,
And told all them folks.
told everybody, because basically she was just around, she was not just
Right.
a white Russian Jew, but a prominent,
Right,
meaning
right,
in
right.
stature and
Photographer
money.
and stuff like
Right.
that.
You know, her family and everybody that she was around, so she went and told everyone, look, I don't have no more dealings with you, including her mother.
Right.
You
She
are
cut her
the
mother
white
off.
man and you are
The
the
devil.
devil.
Wow.
Right.
And she didn't really, being new, she didn't go and tell nobody, you know, this is what I did, you know, according to the article. She just did it. Some years later, she had the opportunity to be in the presence of the minister and just kind of like, you know, talking and just spill the beans, almost like
I don't
with
have
pride.
nothing to do with
I don't
my
have
mother.
nothing to do with them white people,
Mhm.
including my mother, who's, and he said, sister, that is
That's
your
your
mother.
mother.
Yes.
Your mother, your mother. Oh no. And from that day, she had been estranged from her mother. She went
Mhm.
back
For
to her mother
years,
for years.
for
She went
years.
back to her mother, this white Russian Jew, and made a connection. And her and her mother had made the connection ever since then. Fast forward, they began to try and get the white mother, who was
Right.
the Jew, to disown her daughter for being
Yes.
in the Nation of Islam. And she had to testify that, wow, it is because of Farrakhan that I even have
A
a relationship with my daughter.
That's right.
And so
Let the church
I
say
say amen
Wow.
to all of the scholarship,
Absolutely.
because those are the actual facts. But this
Yes.
sister has a personal testimony, and it is
Wow.
absolutely
real live
beautiful.
testimony.
So we're
Yes.
not against the fact that, oh, you're Jewish, oh, you're Jewish. We are
Stop
for
believing
truth.
the hype.
Right, for
Right.
truth. So this is a beautiful, wonderful article. And
Listen
every
for
mother,
yourself.
every son, everyone who has a family who may have they have disowned or disowned them, Farrakhan gives life.
That's
Gives
right.
hope.
That's right.
Listen, that article touched me because of the relationship I have with my family.
Mhm.
You know, it's a strange one, but I'm not leaving this.
Right.
You know, it's best in many, many, many cases to love them from afar, but you're gonna always love them. But I
it gives
know
you
this
hope.
truth.
Right.
Give
I
you some
know
hope.
this the
Right
truth.
here. That's
You know,
serious.
right?
Yeah.
And this, you're right. This, the minister,
That's right.
by Allah's grace and permission, gives us hope. So all we can do is love them and pray and ask Allah to ease that tension, because a true believer, listen, defending Farrakhan is
That's right.
real.
And I
we
think
know
what
we're
the
walking.
gist of the story is that we just look at our own personal lives.
That's right.
That's
You
it.
know, others may not have understood us initially, but we
Mhm.
stuck with it and we got some sense because, you know, some of us
Absolutely.
we were crazy.
Right,
You
right.
know,
Yeah, I don't
you
think
know,
when I first came
going
in
to
this
the
house,
house and
crazy.
snatching all the pork
Get that
chops out of
pork
the
out this
refrigerator.
house.
Didn't buy not one pack,
Right, right. Get out of here.
Get out of there.
Pork.
Get it out of there.
Right.
So you learn to
Right.
be respectful and show love for family
Yes.
over the time period. And oh, okay.
It's
you know,
always that
I
culture
like one.
shock when you come into, you come into a reality that the white man is God. Yet we've been taught that there's a devil under the ground. No, he is the devil. We living with him, working with him, sleeping with him, eating with him.
So, brothers and sisters, we close out. Make sure you read the article. A Savior is born for the black man and woman of America.
That's
This is
right.
our
That's right.
salvation. Thank you all for joining us. Want to thank Cafe Ulu, Brother Ken Hilliard, the manager, and our brother Jelani, who's holding it down. And for Ken for allowing us this extra time to be here. But we'll be back with you, inshallah.
We'll be back. I just want to say,
get your
and
final
we
call.
won't stop.
Right.
We got to show these movies over here.
It may be smoky,
New
but it's all right.
MCT, new FOI.
That's right. Oh, yes.
That's
yes.
right.
People think that it's
Congratulations.
a game.
congratulations.
It's not a game.
Your nation is growing.
That's right.
Your nation
That's
is
right.
growing.
You know that graduation.
You
man, that
decide to
touch you.
pull back,
Yes.
don't worry. You got thousands of others that are pulling it up and taking it to a much higher level. Let me say this real quick on that note. Y'all notice observation I made. I was listening to Corey Holcomb, 5150.
Saw him.
He was at Savior's Day.
Yes, sir, on stage.
He says first Savior's Day. Now on his program, the day after Savior, 2 days
Yes.
after Savior's Day, he had Brother Rizza
Rizza was
Islam
on the
on there
show.
and the comedian Godfrey.
That's right.
And Godfrey was like, I've been to many Savior's Days.
Yes,
He's like, what? You
yes.
been to Savior's Day? He's like, yeah. Godfrey said he used to listen to the minister when he was in college.
Right.
He would get all the minister's lectures and just hold up in his room and listen to Minister Farrakhan.
Yes.
So, but I'm listening to Rizza, Brother Rizza, and he's relatively new to the ranks.
Right.
Like he said, less than
5
4 or 5 years.
Right.
Brother Ben X,
New.
you know, relatively new, but
New.
these brothers are
They
so
coming in
full
ready.
of knowledge and
Yes.
wisdom.
Yes.
You would think they've been around 20
Yes.
years, you
That's
know,
right.
because they're studying.
That's right.
And they have no problem
Right on time.
in sharing, you know, especially with their peers, with their peer group,
Right.
you know, what they're learning. And the people are respecting it.
I really
So
love
kudos to them brothers and
I-
sisters. That's
All right, I gotta get the sister because we were 19, right out of Atlanta. So
I
I'm
really
asking those
like
sisters to come
how
on.
Brother Corey Holcomb, his testimony with respect to
Every
Brother
time
Rizza.
he opening his mouth, he talking about how much he loved the minister.
Yeah, and but he shared with Brother Rizza, he said, all the people he looking for, he said he always get the BS. And I'm being nice, right? He said, when he
Rizza
met
is
Rizza,
real.
I'm looking for the BS.
Like, come on, man,
What you
out with it.
What's
So,
up, what's
what's
up?
the out
But
with
he
it so
said
we get over
Rizza
it?
has been real with him from day one.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, so I say, wow.
And they put Corey has a huge platform.
Yes.
And he's bringing him and Zoe have, you know, brought RZA onto that platform.
Yes.
And they respect him.
Yes.
You know, somebody said was on the show, in the comments, like, you know, Zoe ain't saying a word. So I was like, for what? You got the young brother here that's sharing
That's
knowledge.
right. That's right. What you want me to
say?
say? That's right. That's that old divide and conquer.
That's that ego. That's that ego of the Negro.
Right.
You know. Ego of the Negro. All right, brothers and sisters, thank you all so much
Thank
for tuning
you.
in. Please make sure you listen, like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Number one program.
That's
The
right.
final call,
It's
y'all.
the final call, y'all.